All right, good evening. Here's your Wednesday evening tropical update. This might actually be the last one that we do, given the fact that there's just not anything happening. But whether there is or isn't, it's our job to let you guys know what's going on. So let's start with what we know. There's a weak low pressure center that is currently sliding right along Florida's Big Bend area. NHC maintains a 40% chance of development here. Over the next 48 hours, that has not changed over the last about 2 days. So confidence that this will intensify, just not very much. And let's start with a little breakdown here. Okay, so all this basically is a glorified low. It's tropical because it's warm in nature. It's a warm profile through and through, and it's formed over a warm body of water. So with that in mind, if this weren't tropical season or hurricane season, this probably wouldn't bear too much of an attention. And for the most part, all we're seeing is scattered tropical thunderstorms across the northeastern Gulf. Some of the heaviest has been over near Gulfport, Dolphin Island, and this is headed towards New Orleans. But that's about it. You've got that one line of thunderstorms. Really tough to pinpoint a center location with respect to this invest. But there it is, invest AL 93. Again, it's a fancy term for it's an investigative low. We're watching it. We're keeping an eye on it to see what it does, where it's headed. And again, I don't see this as much more than a rainmaker, as a rip current creator, and a choppy surf at times. This will continue to follow along the Gulf Coast. Again, 40% probability of development within the next 7 and 2 days. It's exactly the same either way you put it. Okay, let's take a look at the spaghetti plots here. This is headed due west, and that's a pretty normal track, but notice it's barely over water. So you think about convective thunderstorms in the summertime. They need 30 minutes to get going. It's hot, it's humid, it's unstable. These things get going, they form, boom. These larger systems, synoptic size, these tropical type lows, they need days sometimes out over open water with ideal conditions. These just don't spontaneously form, and it's not going to happen. So I think the highest end will be a tropical depression. We might not even get there. Wouldn't be surprised if they name this thing, but it's just rain. The winds within this are not even 30 miles an hour. So it's just a pocket of tropical air. So with that, let's go to Thursday morning, 5 o'clock. Depicted just to the southeast of the Louisiana coastline, southeast of New Orleans. This will gradually drift west-northwest, placing it really not too much further to the west 24 hours later. This will be right along I-10 near Baton Rouge. And again, big rainmaker. This is the highest impacts from this in its entirety is going to be found right here in southern Louisiana along and south of I-10, because this is going to slow down and it's going to drop a lot of heavy tropical rains. Notice Friday morning, there is a big area devoid of rain north of the coast. And that could certainly be a growing theme, is that we don't get as much or high rain coverage because thunderstorms are going to form to the south. That effectively can cut off our moisture inflow and our instability. I still think Friday, Saturday are our best bets of seeing scattered showers and thunderstorms. But again, this is a very, very low impact for central Alabama. It's basically a summer-like setup. We just have the added fact that there's a little tropical low here. So again, this kind of highlights the issues with this. Again, flooding is nothing to shy away from, and I think some of these coastal counties, parishes here are going to see several inches of rain as this moves through. New Orleans could be included in that. Baton Rouge, basically along and to the south of I-10 are going to likely be our highest rain totals. And this actually goes back to Mobile, Baldwin, Escambia, Mobile counties. Even as far as over to Crenshaw and Walton counties in the Florida Big Bend area, you could see some, again, decent rain totals, as this rain can be heavy at times. But there's the bullseye. That's where we're going to have the most impacts. Mississippi, perhaps Alabama Gulf Coast, but nothing with respect to winds. People think tropics and they want to think winds. That's not the case with this particular setup here. All right, so let's go now to our impacts. I'm going to start with the north and central part of Alabama. So our weather impacts here over the next couple of days. Pretty straightforward. No impacts Thursday. Low impact on Friday. That's just going to be our highest coverage day. And Saturday, we start to see isolated thunderstorms. Again, there's just not an impact from this. I put it as a low impact because we might have better rain coverage, heavy rain at times, but it's just not a big impact. All right, let's move further south where impacts could be a little bit greater. This is southern Alabama, essentially south of US 80. And I've got Thursday, Friday, and Saturday all as, low impact days, simply because we're looking at coverage being decent. If you get any heavy rain for, prolonged period of time, that could cause some issues. But again, very low impact, scattered thunderstorms. And then down along the coast, Florida's Big Bend, the Alabama Gulf Coast, Mississippi Gulf Coast, all the way down to Port St. Joe. Big issue here is going to be rip currents. High rip current risk through Friday, and that is for all of those beach locations. We'll have surf 2 to 4 feet, not very high because, again, this isn't a big wind energy system, but overall impacts will be dropping by Saturday as rain chances become isolated and those waters begin to calm. So we will have periods of sunshine, by the way, at the beach with this. All right, so let's go now to our rain coverage here. This is Thursday, tomorrow, and where you're seeing that outline, really dark green, is going to be our highest coverage, 50 to, say, 80% coverage. But look at how much lesser so it gets once you're, really north of I-20. It's very sparse, very isolated. That's for Thursday. Friday, again, this is where I think that our best bet of seeing rain is going to be rain coverage. Notice, still the bullseye, over Louisiana, over the northern Gulf, and then a localized, maximum for Alabama, really from Moundville over to, say, near Selma, down to Andalusia, and over to Mobile. It'll be our best coverage. And notice as we head into the weekend, all that starts to shift. So by Saturday, colors lighten up. Tropics, tropical lows, once they move onshore, they tend to lose their oomph a little bit because their fuel source is cut off. That's the warm water. So Saturday's rain coverage, again, will be maximized. New Orleans, Baton Rouge, perhaps over to Gulfport, Mobile. Lessening so for the Big Bend and some of those beaches, and even north and central Alabama. And we will go one more day out Sunday, and as the remnant low sweeps across the Tennessee Valley, could have a slight maximum or higher value over the Tennessee Valley, the shoals, for that particular day. Again, this is not a high impact system for us in Alabama. Not at all. It's hardly a high impact altogether. Surface pressure with this is very close to the mean sea level pressure. Okay, that's how you know it's not strengthening. You have a central pressure of 1,000 millibars. All right, we're just starting to talk about a low, but this is very close to what we would see with just a typical surface conditions. And that is why there's really been no change over the last 24 plus hours. And another thing to note, it's straddling the coast. It's right along to where half of it is, on land, on shore, half over the water. So central pressure as of now on the WPC surface analysis, 1,012. Average sea level pressure is right about there, 1,013. So again, not a very impressive system. But that's your update. Again, this is your Wednesday evening update. We may or may not do more of these. Just want to kind of give you a roundup of what's happening. Again, really no impact for Alabama. Bit rainy at times over the next couple of days. Folks over in Louisiana, southern Mississippi could deal with some flooding. That's your update for now. Have a great night.